Welcome back to Times Square Today. I'm your host, Jess Toddfield. In our Business Game Changer segment, today we turn our attention to healthcare, more specifically, end-of-life care. And a company that's doing some pretty interesting, unique things is a company called Vital Decisions. And joining me right now is Matthew Patella, Vital Decisions Chief Commercial Officer, and Dr. Connie Duquesne, Director of Clinical Account Management. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's set up the problem. I mean, we're talking about end of life, the last 6 months. There are a lot of emotional pieces, components to it. Families just want to make the right decisions. Tell us how you show up and what's happening.
Sure. What we find a lot of is that these patients at end of life have great access to medical care, but the access to behavioral care, behavior change is lacking. And people are facing things like fear, anxiety, denial, lack of self-efficacy, and all those behavioral barriers get in the way of several processes, including enhanced shared decision-making, as well as improved communications between their family, their caregivers, and their loved ones.
Right.
Absent those communications, absent those decisions, the patient's care is likely to not be highly aligned with their priorities and preferences, thereby creating a disconnect or a void between what the patient wants and the care path that they're ultimately put on.
Right, and many times there are all sorts of extra, maybe possibly unnecessary tests that are being done, and your organization is making it better for the patient as well as all the various companies and people that are involved.
Right.
Does that sound right? And so how do you identify who is the right fit? How do you find these folks?
So we work with a lot of the major health plans in the United States. We get access to their claims data and eligibility data, and we have a proprietary algorithm to really find the right people at the right time. It's critical with end of life to get the people when they're ready to be activated or motivated towards behavior change. If we catch them too early, it's not the right time to have those conversations. If we catch them too late, it's highly unlikely that we're going to be able to move the needle on both improved quality of care as well as ultimate savings or cost reduction to the health plan. Once we identify those patients, we have a model that utilizes behavior change clinical specialists, and those folks work through a process with those patients to help them identify their priorities and preferences and really communicate what's most important to them at end of life.
Right, and I was talking to the two of you off camera before this. My wife's father just went through this whole process, or we all did, and there were a million and one decisions. It was terribly emotional, and we don't know if we made some of the best choices. So you have a process for that.
Yeah, so your experience is exactly what our clients, what patients experience. There's so much happening, so many decisions. So our program is not about helping them to make a single decision. It's about helping them to develop a process. So to figure out what's important to them, to figure out what decisions they want to make, and then about communication to their loved ones and their doctors. So it's really about self-advocacy and putting the patient back in control of their medical situation.
Right, right. And now you're a B2B company, so if people are watching and they like the way this sounds, they really should talk to their insurance company?
Correct. So we work directly with the health plans to be able to provide this service free of charge to the patients. So I would encourage any patients out there who find this interesting and feel like it would be a good fit for them to talk to their healthcare providers about including Vital Decisions in their benefit program.
It's really important to sort of step back as a patient and think about when you're hearing this, have you thought about a plan? Have you communicated with your family? Would they know what to do in a crisis? And if they wouldn't know what to do, you should talk with them, and that's where we could come in. So reaching out to your health plan would be a good next step.
Right, yeah, we had so many unanswered questions, and we hope that we do better the next time. So you have, part of your secret sauce is this whole behavioral approach. What is that about?
So it starts with outcomes. We are very specific in what we're working with patients on. So we're working with them on appreciating the value in actually doing this, first of all, getting clarity around what they want as a person, what makes them who they are, how does that inform their decisions, and then who do they need to tell their decisions? Because a decision that is in one's mind but not verbalized can't be acted on. So when we take that in combination with our specialists who are behavior change experts, social workers, marriage and family therapists, counselors, when we put those things together, this is how we really do impact patients when they're dealing with an advanced illness.
I saw on your website, it said that you help people where they are struggling. So what are the struggles?
Yeah, so we talked a little bit before about this. One of the things is lack of knowledge. Patients don't know what questions to ask, they don't know who to ask, and they don't even know that they can ask. So first of all, there's this whole knowledge piece. And then there's an emotional component, so people are afraid, anxious, they're in denial. They're afraid for themselves. They're afraid for what's going to happen with their family if they don't recover from this illness. So we really work with patients to overcome both of those types of barriers, the knowledge gaps that might exist and then the emotional aspect that could influence their communication with the people they love.
We've helped over 30,000 people each and every year, and we remove close to $250 million a year out of the healthcare delivery system, all while improving the quality of care for patients and their families, which is really what's most important to us at Vital Decisions.
One of the things that we know when we ask the patients who participate in their program, 99% of them would recommend us to someone in the same situation. So it helps. It does make a difference.
Wow. Matt, Dr. Connie, Vital Decisions, thank you so much for being here and for making a difference in people's lives.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.